Hello there my dear friends, and welcome back to another Star Wars video. It is I coming at you once again, your favourite galactic hostess, Star Wars Meg. And today we have a huge update for the future of Star Wars movies. This is all in the context of a brand new interview with Shawn Levy, who from the set of Star Wars Starfighter, spoke about the project with VanityFair.com. Now while there are a few tidbits about the film itself, and I will come onto those later in the video, the biggest thing he revealed is the new approach being taken by Kathleen Kennedy. And in light of all of the info that came out about the Hunt for Ben Solo movie, Disney overreach, where we thought it was Lucasfilm's doing, this is a pretty fascinating piece. And just before we get into it my friends, if you've not done so already, please be sure to hit the big subscribe button down below, ring the bell for notifications, but no more jibber jabber, back to the video. So, over the last few years, there has been this recurring sentiment that Kathleen Kennedy is the one to blame for Disney Star Wars' failures. And of course, while she does bear responsibility as the president of Lucasfilm, in light of recent revelations that more often than not, it's Disney calling the shots, sometimes it's not as simple as that. That being said, Kathleen Kennedy's management style has been heavily criticized. She's perceived as a very hands-on exec, but often she's a bit too hands-on. And this isn't just speculation. Many creatives have alluded to the fact that Kathy is not so much a collaborator as much as an interventionist. And this has led to a ton of problems with Lucasfilm. She might give directors initial freedom, but during the creative process, she has a tendency to step in hard if the creator's vision clashes with hers. This has happened on multiple Star Wars projects. The excuse given was always creative differences, and let's be honest, that usually involves a creative clash with Kathy. Now look, in the cases of Solo and Rogue One, the final product we got honestly ended up being a blessing. The troubled production process was steered in the right direction, but there have also been many times her intervention has led to less than desirable outcomes. Numerous movies that were once announced that were scrapped, and even shows or movies that did come to fruition but were tampered with. Great examples include the original Obi-Wan trilogy by Stuart Beattie, and also The Acolyte. Many of Leslie Headland's original concepts were scrapped. We see this in the Art of the Acolyte book. And when she pitched The Acolyte to Kathleen Kennedy, she notoriously told her, "It's a great Star Wars story, now go and write a Leslie Headland Star Wars story." And so the final product does not resemble the original pitch. And sometimes the tampering isn't even creative. It's indirect, making very impulsive or rash decisions, announcing things too soon, cancelling things too soon, or in the case of the Boba Fett movie and the Obi-Wan trilogy, cancelling those due to the performance of Solo, and then blaming Solo's failure on Alden Ehrenreich, when in reality, it was the timing of release after the backlash to The Last Jedi. So learning the wrong lessons is very much a part of all of this. And of course, Boba Fett and Obi-Wan became TV shows with a much different and watered-down creative direction. So look, Kathleen Kennedy's managerial approach and prevention of creative autonomy are well documented. However, there might be some hope. The last few years have proven that she might be changing. She's realizing the benefit of allowing creatives to do what they do best, execute their Star Wars vision the way that they see fit. And the proof of this was with Tony Gilroy's 2 seasons of Andor. In numerous interviews, Tony said, Kathy is the reason Andor ended up being as good as it was, primarily because he was responsible for saving Rogue One, so she trusted him. And he says Kathy was the reason he got away with so many mature scenes, opening with a brothel, going in the darker and grittier side of Star Wars. Originally Disney wanted to cut some of that, but Kathleen Kennedy went to bat for him, defended his vision, and said no, Tony's gonna do it the way he does it. And that approach, the fan reception to Andor, the acclamation and the amount of awards it was nominated for, might have started a wider shift at Lucasfilm. And I say this because Shawn Levy has just revealed Kathleen Kennedy's approach to Star Wars Starfighter. She's going the Tony Gilroy route and allowing Shawn to tell the Star Wars story that he wants to tell. Now I have to admit, Shawn Levy is not Tony Gilroy. I know he's experienced, he's got a lot of films under his belt, but his style of storytelling is not the same as Tony Gilroy or Dan Gilroy, Beau Willimon, Stephen Schiff, and so on and so forth. So when it comes to this approach with Starfighter, there is a huge difference, but the principle is the same. Kathleen Kennedy is remarkably hands-off. And here's the quote. She said, "I want you to do a Star Wars movie." So I asked the obvious question, well, which one? Is it a prequel? Is it a sequel? And the immediate answer was, whatever one you want, make it feel like your movies feel. It was just this incredibly empowering opportunity. And then, later on he says, I knew the feeling that she wanted. I know the aspects of my work that have worked and that she was alluding to. It's sort of a combination of humour and heart with adventure. The first step was, I chose screenwriter Jonathan Tropper. We just started talking, and it led to months of dreaming and brainstorming and rejecting some ideas while embracing others. And little by little, it led us to a theme that was really interesting to me. I can't give anything more than that away. So he's keeping his film a secret, but he does say, just like his other films, it does have humour and heart. And this is what fans worry about, because it's all well and good for something like Andor, where you have the experience and talent of someone like Tony Gilroy, but when you're talking about the guy who made Deadpool 3 and Free Guy, I've already seen worry amongst fans. With humour in the Star Wars universe, it's a very fine balance. But let's be honest, Shawn Levy takes that to a whole new level. I don't know if Star Wars fans are ready for that. Very similar concerns that we had about Taika Waititi's Star Wars film. Is it just going to take the piss? In a way, is it going to be too meta? Is it going to feel too modern? And I, for one, don't think that works in the context of Star Wars. Star Wars humour is very specific. It's a completely different flavour to Marvel humour. It stays in-universe, and it never stops to wink at the audience. Star Wars humour can be through slapstick, through alien absurdity, or through dry humour. Characters like Han Solo or Poe Dameron often make very sarcastic remarks, but they add to the Star Wars charm. It's never goofiness that breaks the fourth wall, and I hope Shawn Levy understands this. But look, the point still stands, Kathy is giving him creative freedom. And some say one of the reasons that she's doing this is because she knows she's going to retire soon. She says she isn't, but a lot of people have been saying that even if she sticks around, she is planning to step down as Lucasfilm president, and so perhaps she thinks, if it was worth the risk with Andor, let's do it with some other projects. And look, on the subject of Starfighter, I'm still very excited. This might be a risk worth taking. The cast alone is mind-blowingly strong. And to be fair, if you look at something like Skeleton Crew, that was also very fun and heartfelt, and had its fair share of humour as well. And that was also by someone who'd been involved in the MCU. And in retrospect, if they'd employed this approach sooner, can you imagine the amount of films that could have been salvaged? I'm not going to say The Hunt for Ben Solo because Disney vetoed that, but Rogue Squadron, Del Toro's Jabba the Hutt film, Stuart Beatty's Obi-Wan, Benioff and Weiss's trilogy, and then there's all the rumoured ones, so the list does go on and on. But you know what's interesting, my friends, is I've also seen folks who don't believe that Kathy said this, and they think Shawn Levy's just being generous, but I'll be honest with you, at least in the initial pitch stage, it doesn't sound like Kathy is too hard to please. She seemed on board with Rian Johnson's trilogy at first, then with reviving Ben Solo for the Steven Soderbergh movie. She loved the pitch for Taika Waititi's film, if that ever happens, so at least at first, when stories are first pitched, she's on board. All of the creative problems tend to happen further down the line, and we just don't know the full story of what goes on behind the scenes, so it's hard to get a fully accurate version of events, but, at least in the case of Andor, and now Shawn Levy's movie, Kathy is being very hands-off. What do you guys think of this? Share your thoughts in the comments down below, my dear friends. I'm excited for Starfighter because once again Shawn Levy reiterates there are no familiar characters, and I think he's trying to get in front of those rumours about Rey, about big sequel connections, and he wants us to know this is his contribution to the galaxy far, far away, and it's going to be entirely new worlds, new heroes and villains. Let me know if you're excited, and if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and may the Force be with you, always.